Good afternoon. This is Info Not Wars, and today we're going to be looking at another pistol that I picked up not long ago. I've had several 1911s throughout my gun owning career, and I've always been a big fan of them. I've shot them very well. I like the feel of the gun, how it points and so forth. And so I wanted to go over one that I had looked at many years ago. Had really wanted to buy one, just wasn't in a position to do that. And I was able to pick one up on the used market because these guns are not made anymore. And so today we have the CZ/Dan Wesson. So I'm guessing this is a Dan Wesson before it was ever a CZ. I'm not real sure when that merger happened. I don't guess it really matters. If you know anything about these guns, they are what many consider to be a semi-custom gun. Now, I would agree with that, I guess, whereas a full custom, something let's say like a Baer, where all of the components stay together, every bit of it is hand fitted, and so that's a full custom gun, and of course, you know, you're going to pay for that, and that's fine. I would have loved to have had a Baer. So with Wilson Combat, Nighthawk, so on and so forth, full custom guns, and I'm sure there's others that I'm leaving out, so I apologize. However, the features that I wanted, I couldn't find in a full custom already built gun under the $4,000 mark or something like that. I mean, it was just incredibly expensive. I've never been a 9mm 1911 fan. It's just God's caliber is a 45, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And every gun that I've had in a 1911 variant, except for my very first Colt Delta Elite, was a 10mm. However, I don't have any 45 ACP stuff anymore. I know. It's terrible. However, I've just tried to narrow down all of my calibers and so forth. And 9mm, of course, with the Glocks and that sort of thing that I have, the integral suppressed 9mm AR that I have, obviously, I wanted to keep something with the same caliber. So, 1911, I went looking, and the the one that I was able to find, again, that I had looked at years ago, was the Discretion, and it has every feature on it that I would have wanted. Now, some people may or may not be crazy about the let me get a little closer here, about the slide cuts that are on it. Of course, that's on both sides. It has the suppressor-height sights on it, and of course it has a threaded barrel, which is nicely done. The thread protector comes just all but a hair of the barrel bushing. The trigger is a little different. It's serrated there on the front. It's just a single-sided safety, and it's clear just in case anybody's but it's just a very nicely done. It's a kind of a no frills gun. I wanted one that had the magwell, not an extension, but just a beveled magwell. Anyway, okay. So, what makes a semi-custom 1911? Now, I'm not a 1911 guru by any stretch of the imagination, but I've seen enough custom guns and enough non-custom guns that I would safely consider this to be a semi-custom gun. Well, there's a few things on this that the non-glare cuts that they've put in the top, as well as the back of the rear sight. Now, of course, they did not do the back side of the slide like many 1911 manufacturers will. When this is serrated, if you will, they won't do the same, or they will do the same, I'm sorry, there. But that, I thought that was a nice touch. When I look for a 1911 to try to find one that is well put together, I look at 2 or 3 things really, and that is the slide to frame fit, the beaver tail safety, the grip safety fit, and the trigger on it, which is, to me, on these 1911s, it's really hard to goof up a trigger. It's very similar, I feel like, to like a single action gun would be. So it's not like a striker fire, like a Glock and those types of guns. It's nothing like that. It's very clean, very crisp, and honestly, I've never had a 1911, even some of the cheaper ones, typically have fairly decent triggers. But so I don't look so much at that. But the other component, I guess the third one, would be the barrel bushing and the fit on that. So I'm not going to pull this gun apart, but the barrel bushing, this component here, which if you know anything about 1911s, you already know that. But this is a booger to, it's not so bad getting it out because I can use the barrel to, kind of tap on it and pull it out. But getting that thing back in is kind of a bear. So it's very tight in that regard. And then I'm going to try to show you, I don't know if that's going to focus or not, but the slide to frame fit is, I mean, it's excellent. There is zero gap in either side. And then the beaver tail fit on it, again, I'm not real sure what's going to show up with the sun where it's at, and so anyway, but from my understanding, these guns are semi fit together. I don't know. But there's a few things that set this apart that would not be considered a full custom gun. So the ejection port here, the flare, has some sharp edges on it. These areas right through here, you can tell they didn't take a file and just break the edge of it, so those have got a little bit of a sharp edge to it. Not terrible, but it does have a little bit of a sharp edge. Of course, with the suppressor height sights, I mean, you're going to have ledges on there, and those are going to be sharp for a reason. I think that they could have still taken just a file, I mean, they wouldn't have had to do as much on the back side, or I guess the front side, as they did this side here, but just to break that edge, that sort of thing. Another that you'll see, and I'll try to get that in the light, is that where the frame meets this magwell, they did not break that or blend that very well. So that is something that if you wanted to refinish the gun or that sort of thing, you could take a nice file and blend that yourself. Here's one of the biggest ones, is this magwell here. You can see on 4 different sides, it is not blended at all. I mean, they just shove that thing in there and hope for the best, I guess. I don't know. But my hand is not down here in these areas to a point to where it really bothers me at all. My hand is going to touch that very, very minimally and not at all here. So it's not going to affect as far as how it feels in the hand. It's still going to feel fine. The checkering and so forth is, I mean, it's aggressive, but it should be. The grip panels I like. They're a little different than most grip panels that I've seen, like the VZ brands and so forth. The safety on it is very it's very tight, but it's not so tight that you struggle, obviously, to activate it. Now I bought this used, and the gentleman told me that he had roughly 1,000 rounds in it. That usually means it's probably got 2,000 or more. So let's just say that that's half of the rounds. So let's just say it's got 1,500 rounds, which for a 9mm, it's not like it's been shot out or anything of that nature. The action on it is super slick, super smooth. And so what I do when I test a 1911 is it's empty, so I'll pull the trigger and then I'll work the slide with the finger, or with my finger depressing the trigger. Because what that does is there's a piece that sits right on the top of the frame here that contacts the slide, and with that up you have a little more resistance. But when you shoot it, as that works back and forth, typically your finger is still going to be on the trigger, unless you're just a whiz banger of a 1911 guy and you can run faster than the gun can run. The barrel wear on it, again, is not terrible, but it is, you can tell that barrel bushing, that ring goes all the way around the barrel. So to me, that would indicate that it is built fairly well. It's not a full custom gun, like I've said, but for the money that I purchased this for, I couldn't have come close on a full custom gun for what I paid for this. It came with one magazine, which says DW on it, for Dan Wesson, of course. I don't know that they make their own mags. I don't know who does. But I bought some Wilson Combat mags because, if nothing else, Wilson knows they've got the 1911 magazine figured out. I've shot hollow points, round nose, 147 grain, 115 grain. Everything I've shot out of it functions fine. It's very, very accurate pistol, as it should be, of course. I like the fact that the slide stop is recessed in there. And so again, for the money, and as you know, I'm big on, I want to spend my money wisely, and I want to buy once, cry once type of thing. And so I don't feel like I'm going to have to cry more than once after purchasing this. Now, when I went to look for a holster, because of the type of gun, the higher sights and so forth, I thought, man, this is really going to be a pain in the butt to find a holster. But C&G holsters, they actually make one that thing slid right into. I mean, just like it was made for it. I know that sounds dumb, but because it was. But I mean, it's for a railed 1911 with suppressor height sights. I couldn't believe that I just went and picked one up off of the shelf, but we did. So if you have an opportunity to handle one of these pistols, don't feel like now this is the first one that I've had my hands on, and maybe I just got a unicorn. I don't know. I don't feel like I did necessarily from other people that I've seen out there. One other thing I'll show you is that you'll notice on a fully custom gun where everything is blended real well, the ejector and the extractor, I mean, again, you could take that out and file that a few times and probably get that as smooth on the backside. And then the ejector obviously is countersunk just a little bit, so you can feel a very minor difference in the slide and where the ejector is located. But again, my hand's not up here. That's not something that I have to worry about how it feels, and as long as it functions, to me, that's the main thing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for your subscription, if you would be so kind to do so. And if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to leave those in the bottom. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We are enjoying the sunshine here. It is December 3rd, and it is a beautiful day. You guys take care.